Hey students, this is the second video in improving your sentence structure and just finding out how to best form sentences. I'm going to real quick review these so this video won't be nearly as long as the last one and run on to the second improvement type. Okay, sentence structures: simple, compound, complex, compound, complex. Simple, one sentence. Independent clause, you're good. Compound, two sentences joined by a coordinating conjunction, okay, and, but, for, nor, or, yet. Complex, independent, and a dependent clause. Dependent needs a subordinating conjunction, if, because, so, that, as. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Okay, and then compound complex is a combination of these two, of course. So you would need a coordinating conjunction and a subordinating conjunction for a compound complex. Okay, let's move on. Just to review the problem types of sentences. Choppy sentences, which we went over in the last video, is just a whole bunch of simple sentences put together in a line. They don't really make sense most of the time. They don't have any conjunctions, subordinating or coordinating. Just a whole bunch of simple sentences, okay? Stringy sentences is too many compound sentences, which is what we're going to talk about today. Too many ands and so's. They're just strung along all together, hopefully to make some kind of point. Monotonous sentences begin the same way every time, and that's what you can focus on with that. It's always subject verb. You start with your subject and verb. Start with your next sentence, start with your subject and verb. And so I'm really excited for the next video with that because there's so many different ways that you can begin a sentence. That's really probably the easiest, okay, if you understand the different techniques. All right, but let's go ahead and get on to stringy compound sentences and figure out how we can fix this, okay? Get you some paper, maybe write this stuff down, but here we go. Stringy sentences, as I've said, is too many compound sentences right next to each other. So, obviously, maybe the way that we could fix too many compound sentences is to make complex or simple sentences. Now, maybe some of you are asking, wait a minute, didn't in the last video you said not to use simple sentences? Not quite. Each of these sentence structure types are fine to use. You just don't want to exclusively use one all the time. Even in one paragraph, you want to vary it as much as you can. All right, so if you find yourself using compound too much, it's okay to revert back to a simple sentence every now and then, or to change it up and use complex sentences. Just try to add variety. That's all I'm trying to get you to do. Use all the types to the best of your ability, okay? So here's some techniques, or just some tips, just some ways to fix it. Use subordinating conjunctions. Again, we're talking about having too many compound sentences, so the way to fix that is to, instead of using your and, but, yes, things like that, just change it up and use if, because, when, after, before, things like that. That will, of course, automatically make it a complex sentence. It subordinates and makes one idea more important than the other, and sometimes that's true of your sentences and your ideas, okay? And I tell you, subordinating conjunctions can be the most effective word. It can be the most simple word, but it can really add or change your sentences for the better and add so much more depth, really just with one word. Okay, you can use phrases, okay? Prepositional, infinitive, appositive, the other types of verbals, participles, gerunds, things like that. Or simply, and that will make a simple sentence, okay? You're taking really the two ideas and combining them almost to make a simple sentence. Or you can simply use a period every now and then, okay? And that will, of course, make a simple sentence. Again, we're trying to get away from so many compound sentences right next to each other. The one more option is to, as with the last video, to help you with helping with choppy sentences, to help with stringy sentences, is to put an and just simply between your subjects, two subjects, or to put an and. Because instead of having two separate sentences, you're just having two separate subjects, okay? It's very different from having 2 or 3 sentences to having 2 or 3 subjects or 2 or 3 verbs in the same sentence. And of course, that would turn it into a simple sentence as well, okay? So let's go over here and look at my example sentence. This is just one sentence, okay? But it's got a whole bunch of, like 4 or 5 different clauses here, a whole bunch of different subjects and verbs. One sentence, okay? So here's the sentence. I am playing ball, and I plan to be the captain. So I must practice, and I will succeed. So I will be happy, okay? I got tired writing it, okay? It was just, it's too much. Is this all one complete thought? That's what it seems like, okay? I've got a subject verb here, subject verb, subject verb, subject verb, subject verb, okay? So it's fine as far as structurally we've got what we need to make a sentence, but it's not proper in logic, if I can say it like that. So some ways that we can fix it, very simply, we can just find a place to put a period, okay? I am playing ball, and I plan to be the captain. We could put a period right there, kind of shortening it up a little bit, okay? Really, in any of these places that I have a comma, we could put a period, because that's the end of a thought. Of course, you'd have to take away this part. I will succeed, okay? Shortening it up. Maybe you just want to do one. Of course, if you do too many, then it turns into a choppy paragraph, okay? But that's one of the easiest ways to fix stringy sentences, just put a period somewhere, 1 or 2 places, okay? Well, how can we make it complex? Let's use some subordinated conjunctions. We can say, since I am playing ball, I plan to be captain. Okay, we still need a period right there, breaking it up a little bit. Okay, that subordinates this part and puts the main focus on this part. We can put one right here. If I plan to be captain, we'd have to take away this, I must practice. Okay, we can kind of stop it right there. If I plan to be captain, I must practice. Okay, we can do it down here too. If I plan to succeed, I must practice. So you know, just depending on what you want to say, you can work with the sentences. Okay, that would be subordinating the sentences. Subordinating, using a subordinating conjunction. Okay, we can use some phrases. I must practice. Starting right here. I must practice. And get rid of this whole thing and just put the word to, making it an infinitive. Okay, to plus a verb. I must practice to succeed. You can stop it right there. We've got 2 thoughts now, but we've combined it into a simple sentence. I must practice to succeed. And you could add this to it, making it a complex sentence. I must practice to succeed, so I will be happy. Or we could take rid of this whole thing. Might need to be. I must practice to succeed and be happy. Okay, I've gotten rid of a whole lot of words that were unnecessary. I've combined a couple of thoughts, made it, I believe it's even just a simple sentence then. It's just a simple sentence. There's another one that I could make it compound. Here we go. I plan to be captain. Oh, here we go. Let's start it up here. I plan to play and to be captain. So I've gotten rid of this whole part up here, basically, and said, I plan to play and to be captain. Okay? Might look kind of weird. I've marked through a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully you can kind of see I'm using 2 verbs here, combining the verbs. I plan to play, that's actually an infinitive, and to be captain. That's the 2 things that I've really combined. Okay, putting an and in the right place, using your conjunctions in the right way instead of just stringing them all along to make one gigantic sentence, which is not very effective. Because most of the time, let me tell you, somebody starts reading it up here, and by the time they've gotten down here, they've forgotten what this point was up here because it's so long and it's so strung together and it doesn't make sense, okay? If you're going to have a long sentence, you have to be able to subordinate and combine the thoughts masterfully. Otherwise, like I said, when you get to the end of the sentence, the reader's going to forget what they read at the beginning, okay? That's stringy sentences, working your book, doing your best to subordinate and combine them in the best way. Let me know if you have questions, and in the next video, we'll talk about the last one.